What is up, guys? Today I give you top 10 best epic tower pieces in MK Mobile. Now before we continue, I just want to mention something important. I decided that it's fair only to rank the epic pieces that I have maxed out. In total I have 33 epic pieces maxed out. The reason why I decided to leave the others is simple. I don't feel comfortable ranking pieces that I never tested to the full potential. You can say that for characters you can get away with it because you can play quick mode, get them to Fusion 10 and experience how strong they become. But when it comes to the gear, you can only have the gear now to test it. So I decided I will only rank the gear that I have maxed out. But don't worry, in the end of the video I'll also provide a list of epic pieces that I don't have maxed out, but at the same time I consider them to be extremely good. So if I eventually get them to Fusion 10, I will consider each and every one of them to be on my top 10 best epics in the game. So without any further ado, let's jump straight into number 10. And coming in at number 10, guys, is the Cory Blade. It is a very underrated piece, to be honest. It gives you attack. Let's be real, every single character in the game will benefit on attack. Also, it gives you % chance to get shield after you kill somebody, and this % goes all the way up to 100% at Fusion 10, and it has power draining effect. So in a way, if you give this piece to your main fighter, he becomes a one-man army. He more or less doesn't need support. As long as he kills the first enemy, then everything becomes super easy. So all in all, again, one of the most underrated pieces in the game, but one of the most powerful pieces at the same time. It works at Fusion 0, it's not amazing, but at Fusion 10 it becomes absolutely busted. Ranking at number 9 is another Linkway Tower epic. It is the Kuai Liang Scepter. This piece is super useful. For one thing, it gives you Barca starting power, which is always great, and it gives you at Fusion 10 100% chance to deal lethal blow if the enemy is frozen. So in a way, this piece works excellent on characters that deliver the entirety of the damage in only one mini hit. For instance, Classic Liu Kang or Circle of Shadow Sub-Zero, their special tools are delivered in only one mini hit, which basically means that if your enemy is frozen and you unleash their special tool, they will be guaranteed a little hit and they will do hundreds of thousands of damage. Is going to be absolutely busted. So all in all, a very useful piece, and it also works at any fusion. Granted, it becomes much better if you have it, let's say, at least at Fusion 4 or 5. The next piece on the list is Thunder Lord Stormweaver, one of the most destructive pieces in the game. I absolutely love using it on any Raiden, to be honest, but let's be real, this piece will work on every character more or less in Mortal Kombat Mobile. For one thing, it gives you attack boost, every character appreciates that, 100% chance to gain Dispel after performing a special attack, so in a way, any character that does any special attack will always get Dispelled Fusion 10. Also, if you're using Raiden, it will give you a chance to additionally damage the enemy by having extra lightning, and at Fusion 10 you unlock the 1.5 bars of starting power. This piece is absolutely busted on Raiden, but it also can give you massive value to more or less any character in the game. So all in all, definitely it will rank high on my top 10 rankings. And coming in at number 7, guys, is the Dynasty Mask of Madness. 40% resistance to all debuffs. This is huge for an accessory. Also, Power Drain, Weaken and Shield Break effects apply to the opponents at 35% more effective. I mean, we all love to use Power Drain and Shield Break, right? So this piece will work more or less on every single character because at 95% of the cases, your main fighter either Power Drains or Shield Breaks or Weakens, whatever. So this piece will be always useful on him. On top of everything, it has very useful additional effect on Kitana. After a special attack performed against Kitana, she gains 50% power generation for 10 seconds. That's absolutely huge. And one of the best qualities of this piece is the fact that it gives you 30% chance to perform special attack 1 with 0 power cost. Again, a piece designed for your main fighter, and more or less it will work on everybody, especially the special 1 fighters. But let's be real, in 95% of the cases your main fighter is actually a special 1 spammer. Ranking at number 6, guys, is the Wrestling Stars Last Puff. I absolutely love this piece and I use it all the time. It gives 40% basic attack and blockable chance, which is huge for accessory. Also, at Maximum Fusion, it guarantees that you're going to get luck on block breaker attack. So in other words, you are done with the critical hit chance. You just have this piece and you are done with block breaker and critical hit chance. That is super huge. if you're using it on Jax, even with Fusion 0, your Jax cannot die. If they kill him, he's going to come back with 50% health and 200% damage boost, which is huge. And on top of everything, every single time when you crit, you're dealing additional damage based on the maximum health of your enemy and your power draining him. All in all, one of the very best gears in the game, and one of its best qualities is actually the fact that it is accessory. Alright, so we got to the top 5, and the very first piece to enter is Jinsei Hat. 50% critical hit chance boost, 20% chance to apply weaken shield break on curse on a critical hit. By the way, it's important to mention here that this critical hit doesn't involve you being tagged in. So in a way, for instance, if you're using Edenian Blood Rain and he's assisting with lightning attacks, as long as these lightning attacks are critting, they have 20% chance to apply either weaken or shield break or curse. That's pretty cool, by the way, to know. On top of everything, if you die, you are avoiding death by tagging out, getting 1000% recovery for 7 seconds. The only way to counter this is a brutality, because Death Mark actually doesn't work. Yes, you heard me, Jinsei Hat actually counters Death Mark. So if you have this piece, Maximum Fusion, on your main fighter, he is literally unkillable. Ranking at number 4, guys, is Ceremonial Pipe. Now, this piece is incredibly strong, and the thing about this piece and why it is so good is the fact that every single piece, almost every single piece that have defensive ability that gives you shield and vulnerability, stuff like this, is countered by the Ceremonial Pipe. And the best thing about this piece is that it works pretty good even at Fusion 0. For one thing, you gain 100% damage boost while the character is not affected by any debuff, which is huge. The bread and butter of this piece, however, is its second attribute. Look at this. Whenever an opponent tries to apply a positive combat effect on themselves, there is a 100% chance to steal the effect for the user. This actually works even if your character is tagged out. So you can have a character who is supporting, who will be stealing all of the positive effects of your enemies. Regenerations, shields, you name it. This piece is an absolute beauty, and I'm using it all the time, especially in survival mode, especially in the crypt. You know how many times in the crypt they're going to have invulnerability bonuses, they're going to have regeneration, they're going to have shields, so you can use this piece to steal it all and make sure that you finish the fight faster. Also, the Maximum Fusion effect is great as well. 30% chance to apply a random buff to the user on combo ender, so every third combo ender you'll be getting something good for you. Absolutely beautiful piece. And coming in at number 3, the interesting thing is that this piece is actually an armor. It is an armor, which is strange because so far I didn't really list a lot of armors, but the point is I'm using this piece all the time. I'm talking about Varmin's Ace in the Hole. This piece has everything. It has the recovery boost, which is super useful everywhere more or less. It has the shield break on opponent tags in, which is extremely good. Every single time when the opponent tags in, he's going to get the shield break on, so you can more or less one-shot it. Extremely good piece. It has the dual thing on Erin Black. It's not incredible, but still something. And at the end of the day, it has way to keep you in the fight if you take little damage. Once per match, when the character receives fatal damage, he gains bar of power and he becomes immortal for 10 seconds. The only drawback is that you cannot really tag out, but that's not a big deal. So when it comes to armor, I more or less every single time give this armor to my main fighter because it guarantees that it is super difficult to be killed. It applies shield break to the opponent on tag in, which is very useful. And if for some reason I have to tag out, I'm going to get healing in the process thanks to the recovery boost. This is a perfect armor. Alright, the runner-up of the video is a weapon. I'm talking about Rocking Bowling Stones. For one thing, it's one of the best pieces to give to your support, and it's one of the best pieces to give to your active fighter. Why is that? Because your team will get 35% unblockable chance on basic attacks at Fusion 10, which is incredibly useful. In a way, you can make sure that you give 4 pieces only for damage to your fighter and forget about unblockable attacks, because 35% feels like enough. On top of everything, if you want, you can give this piece to your main fighter so he can become faster. Look at this. Each acquired bar of power while tagged in grants the user 2% speed boost until the end of the match. Maximum amount of stacks is 20, so he can become faster by 40%, which is very, very good. And on top of everything, the more health he loses, the stronger he becomes. So you can use that on tagged out characters that can deal damage to the enemy team, such as Leatherface or Athenian Blood Rain, or you can use it for characters that further will benefit from losing health, for instance, Strike Force Johnny. And before we talk about our winner, I just wanna mention two pieces that are two honorable mentions. The first piece is the Frost Orb, one of the very best pieces in the game, the very defensive pieces. Why it is so good? Because it works at Fusion 0. At Fusion 0, it makes sure that you're not going to die if you take little damage. This piece will save you and you come back. At Fusion 10, you also get immunity to stun, which is pretty awesome. The Divine Argus Cloak is also a great piece. It has to be a high fusion node for it to be working, but once you get there, more or less you must have it in every boss fight. Once you have this piece, the boss fights become super, super easy. Of course, as long as they don't resist your soak all the time. And the winner of this video, the best epic piece in the game out of the epic pieces that I have maxed out, without any doubt, this is Weather Warfare. Not only the fact that it helps you a lot with the fast kill, especially if you have the Weather Warfare and the Quietly Scepter, because more or less every single person tags, he got frozen, you do special 1 on Sub-Zero, it is lethal, they die, and you repeat that. However, there is another thing that's super, super good when it comes to Weather Warfare, and this is the fact that it counters Cabal tagging, it counters classic Raiden tagging, it counters Melina tagging, you name it. So at the end of the day, super good item, offensive and defensive at the same time, and at the end of the day, it is the ticket for you if you want to complete Crypt fast, if you want to complete Survival Mode fast, it works everywhere, and they hardly ever resist the freeze. Quite frankly, the only counter of this, apart from a resistance to all the buffs, is invulnerability on tag. Because if you tag and you're invulnerable, you're going to get frozen, but at the same time you're invulnerable, so you have to really check the bar of buffs of the enemy, because sometimes you don't know that they're invulnerable since they're frozen, and you waste your special one and nothing happens. But anyways, at the end of the day, this is in my opinion the best epic piece in the game. And as I promised, at the very end of the video, I'm going to list the items that I believe are super good, but because I don't have them maxed out, I cannot say whether they're going to rank in top 10, but definitely I can feel that they have good chance. And the list goes like this: Shintai of Revenge, Living Dead, Bloodmaster Iron Curtain, Shintai of the North, God Helper's Tanuki, Edenian Force Rejection Field, Director's Chair, Stunt Buddies, Nomad's Buzzsaw, and Champion Nunchaku. Alright guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know whether you agree with me or whether you disagree with me. As usual, and see you next time. Take care.
Perfect.